estate investor and developer in Colorado. Been doing it since 2014 and been utilizing Fund&Grow for about, I want to say 4 years ago was my first pull. My first round, I had 60,000 of available funds for 12 months, which I totally utilized. Then at that 12-month term, they essentially expire. I cut up those cards and go for a next round. And the next round at 0% gave me 12 months for $120,000 of available funds, which I bought materials with and did renovations with, and sold a house and paid off all of those lines. And at month 11 and 27 days, I cut up those cards, make sure they're paid off in full. So fully utilized essentially $180,000 worth of credit over 2 years with Fund&Grow in my first round. Only 60,000 at a time, and then 120 on the following. And then a couple years later, I'm coming back and doing a secondary round with you guys post-COVID, and I'm doing. I just got $61,000 of available 0% lines. Fully utilized that and paid them off, and we're going to go for a second round. So hopefully, we get another 120 or 150 available here shortly. I typically use the business credit for my capital expenditures on renovations. So I'll use the credit lines to access materials or to pay HVAC contractors, just some of my bigger bills, so that I have more funds sitting in the bank that didn't have to go into the cost of renovations. So that when you go to the bank afterwards for a refinance, it's easier once you have a bunch of money sitting in the bank. So then once I refinance and I get the money out there, pay off the cards, and effectively got a project done with 0% credit lines. I bought an old bank with a partner and converted that to a co-working space. So try to make unused square footage usable and an advantage to our community, which really has a need for housing. Accessing those credit lines really extends your reach. So it's like I have an extra $100,000 sitting in the bank if I have a $100,000 line of credit at 0%. When you do your refinance at the end to take out a project, they really want to know that you have 6 months worth of verifiable funds sitting there just to get the ball rolling on that refinance. So without being able to utilize those 0% lines of credits, I would have to either borrow more money somewhere. I'd have to come up with another solution. So it's a really nice, easy, attainable solution for keeping money in the bank. I actually heard about Fund&Grow through a business partner. He said, "Hey, I just learned about this company." I think he learned about it on a podcast or something. He does a lot of his own research, but he gave me a call and said, "Hey, you should take a look at this company. I want to do a first round, and I can have a second on my submission with Fund&Grow. So, do you want to be my second on this? Look into it." And just a little bit of quick research. It made a lot of sense. It seemed like it was a very cost-effective way to access a bunch of capital, especially if you have a secondary person going on under contract with you. I'm excited to see, once we go back to those creditors and those lines were fully utilized. I got 61,000 of available credit lines. I used all $60,000 with each one of those banks and paid off all of it back. So I think that's the input that they will need for Fund&Grow to hopefully get big approvals here on the next set of submissions. Those 0% credit lines were put in place for 12-month periods. So they're all 12-month terms. Once I get those established, I put a little calendar reminder in my phone at month 11 and a half, pay off these cards in full, and it gives me 12 months of runway to get a project finished and get it back to a bank, so I can hopefully get that refinance done and pay it off. So all the financing comes within one project. So I really try to utilize the full 12-month term of those 0% lines if possible. It was an easier process, I think, than probably going to a bank directly and getting a unsecured line of credit or loan. I'll say, as far as credit pulls, and when you get to the refinance process, having all the debt sit on an LLC's EIN number as opposed to your social security number is also a pretty positive thing. It's really nice that it's going to go back, and when they pull your credit, when you're going to get your refinance at the end, none of that debt shows up. Only the debt tied to your social security number shows up. So make all your payments. It saves off your credit report. It doesn't look like you have a bunch of outstanding costs sitting behind the scenes, which makes you look like a more lendable person. As far as utilizing funds from Fund&Grow, I think it's a great tool to really extend everybody's reach. We all have limited resources in the bank, and you should keep those resources in the bank so that you have a great safety sitting there. So taking advantage of free money, 0% lines is a really valuable tool if you want to do projects and keep yourself as safe as possible by keeping liquidity available.